Shalom, shalom. First, I want to start off by giving all honor, praises, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto the elders, apostles, and bishops, the GMS Great Millstone who rule well, teach and edify, and peace and blessings to sincere Akim, while Akwat in his house of the faith. My name is Yeshaya from the GMS Arizona Church, and Adawan Ratazak, going to make a edifying video of just the word distracted. I was reading Psalms 88 and 15. It says, I am afflicted and ready to die from my youth up. While I suffer thy terrors, I am distracted. And going into an LNT is, I've been sick and close to death since my youth. I stand helpless and desperate for your before your terrors. You go into that word distracted, right? It goes into the meaning of perplexed. Okay, so in his life, bro, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of perplexings, because Esau Edom, this devil tries to make society and the American dream seem to be this great thing, man. And that's why the scriptures talk about in Proverbs, look not upon the wine while it is in the cup. Matter of fact, we can get that real quick, because the wine referring to is actually philosophy. And the philosophy of Babylon the Great, it sounds good on paper, man. You come here, you're born into a country, you have your freedom, you have your rights to express yourself and do what you want to do. You can go to school, you can get a good job, and equality among all people, and all that bullshit placebo that they want to portray to people, man. It's not real, it's not true. Okay? This place is a gigantic distraction. Okay? But wine cup. Bear with me for 1 second. Let's get this. This is Proverbs 23 and verse 31. And it reads, it says, look not thou upon the wine. It says, when it is red. And if you the apostles brought out, or one of the elders brought out when he was bringing this precept out, is red is the most alluring color. Okay? Red is the most, they say if you wear a red t-shirt on your first date, you have a greater sex appeal than if you wore like a blue t-shirt, a more calming color. So you look at that wine while it is red, that's when it's the most appetizing. That's when it's the most seductive. All right. And that's what's happening through the spirit now, man. A lot of guys are getting seduced by this red wine of Babylon, being distracted by all the certain things that this place offers, man. But at the end of the day, the scriptures say, keep thine eyes single, okay? You have to keep that body full of light, man. And looking unto darkness, we don't match up with darkness. All right, and I'll get that in John, but we're going to finish this precept. It says, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. So it's the most appetizing when it's in the cup, man. If you got a closed bottle of wine with the cork on top of it, and you can't really see the wine because it's in the bottle and you can't see how red it is and how it smells, it's not going to be half as appetizing. That's a Spirit 144 on his license plate. It's like it. But it's not going to be half as appetizing as when it's in a ready, cooled cup, where you can see the colors and it's aerated and everything, and you can smell it. That's the thing, man. We this whole place is poured into a cup, man. This place doesn't hide its allure, man. You got women that walk around public with their, with all their goods out, man, wearing these booty shorts, and you got men walking around, with all their jewelry on and chains on and with the nice cars and all that, and you want to get a piece of that through the flesh that sounds appetizing, man. Or you got people, the family man spirit. Even that's a whole, issue in and of itself, man. One man, one wife, and you just do everything that you possibly can to please your wife, happy life. That's wine too, man. Just because it ain't flashy don't mean it ain't, it ain't off, man. That simp spirit, man. There's so many alluring things to all these different types of people, man. This place is full of sorceries and witchcraft. If you go back into the Babylonians, they were some of the first to do the astrology and whatnot. And also many other forms of witchcraft. The Chaldeans, they're known a lot for that witchcraft and that left hand ministry, man. Those wicked left hand spirits. And that's what we're actually experiencing now, man. They're conjuring up left hand spirits and putting it all throughout the land. Okay. And some of it is actually more frontal. Like when you go on your phone, man, you go on your phone and you open up a portal, to a whole realm of who knows what. You can get into some stuff that could really trouble you through the spirit. If you're not careful about weeding the things in that are good and that are not good, being distracted. But going back to that word distracted, the two root words of that word distracted, and it makes up two words in English. It says dis and tract. So that word dis means to do opposite of, because I believe that word distracted goes back into let me see. I want to say it goes back into the, let me see. Okay. It says to turn or to draw, and that goes to the Latin, distractus. All right. But the word dis and tract. So the dis means to do opposite of, and tract means to basically a course, like a train track. So whenever you have that word dis, it's like to do the opposite of. So say you're, discontinued. That means you're doing the opposite of continued, or you're disfigured. You're the opposite of being figured, And that's the thing, bro. You have to understand when are you actually dissing what your mission, bro. You could be saying, this, I want to do that and I want to do this, and this honestly applies to anything in life, man. Say you a brother that wants to get over that food demon. Are you actually focused on that, or are you distracted? Are you literally going off course of what it is that you want to do? And a lot of times you could be going off course in small ways. If you're going off course in small ways, that's going to make you get into your destination a whole lot more difficult, bro. That's like trying to make a lot of money, but spending half of it every time you get paid, and that can translate to any other thing that you're trying to do. That's like trying to get a lot of wisdom, but then not applying it. You're only doing half of that what you must. The scriptures talk about, a fool spending all his money as soon as he gets it. I'm not sure. I think it's in a different translation. Oh, Khan. It says in Proverbs 21. We'll start right there at 20. It says, there is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up, man. Spendeth it up. You kind of just giving it away, man. This is let's get that in the NLT. That says 21 and 20. So Proverbs 21 and 20 in the NLT, and that reads, says, the wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend whatever they get. And what is our wealth, man? That's this truth. And and a wise man gets that by what? Opportunity of leisure. What do you do in your spirit, your free time? Are you actually exercising this truth, as much as you possibly can? Are you embedded in this thing, man? And Lord willing, we grow closer to that. But it says, but fools spend whatever they get. So say, a fool gets some wisdom, he's not even going to really apply that wisdom. He's just going to give it away, like whatever, for example, say a brother got edified on how to deal with women, but then that brother goes off and just does what he used to do. He just spent all that wisdom and just got rid of it. All right. That's the thing, man. Let's get that word spent, actually. Spendeth. It says the word spendeth it up. It says to swallow down, to engulf. All right. To eat up. To be ended. All right. As to be ended. To destroy, to devour. All right. To swallow down. To make away with. To make away with. That word spendeth. So rereading that again, but to make away with, it says, he that falleth after righteousness and mercy findeth life. Salakia. That's fire too. It says, there is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise. All right. The wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that oil translates to that deep understanding of this truth. It says, but a foolish man makes away with it. All right. A foolish man makes away with it. And that's the thing. That's what these distractions do to you, man. These distractions remove you from that set course of getting that increase, man. That's like, trying to be a plant in this thing, but then refusing some water. That's the hellish thing about this place, man. This place is full of distractions to make you, fork up your dollar, man, to fork up your penny, to fork up, what you have been blessed with. A lot of bros have been weeded out by Babylon, man. A lot of bros have fallen by the way because of all this thing. The scriptures talk about in 1 Timothy, might be 2 Timothy actually, Salakia. Yeah, 2 Timothy 2 in verse 4, it says, "No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier." And a soldier isn't distracted. A soldier isn't worried about the next woman he's going to smash, the next job he's going to get, the next meal he's going to have, the next fucking whatever it is that his flesh is trying to politic with him. He's worried about completing the mission, man. And we're in a spiritual war right now. We're fighting spiritual demons. All right, what scriptures say in Ephesians 6 and 10, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spirits in high places, man. Spiritual wickedness in high places. So therefore, put on the whole armor of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, if say I don't know if any of you brothers have ever played it's like football or something like that. When you put on that helmet, and you put on those shoulder pads, you put on your girdle, you put on your cleats, man. You ready to go. Your spirit changes. You're not thinking about the woman you talking to. You're not thinking about, sometimes you get so locked in, you ain't even thinking about your mom or dad in the stands. You just worried about hitting this nigga right in front of you, man. You worried about, taking all the things that you learned all week, all the plays that you studied, and actually just exercising that gap, man, and just boom, laying it down. Are you not thinking about, the work that you put in, because now this work translates right here. Like, damn, like this is what I'm doing. All right, say you a boxer. You put those gloves on, man. You put those gloves on. All right, you put your mouth guard in. I don't know if you brothers, a lot of brothers have been getting into the MMA, so I'm sure brothers have experienced this, man. That feeling that you get when you're in a ring with another man, it's just mano-y-mano. You got your headgear on, maybe not. It behoove bros to use headgear. I ain't gonna lie, these jakes be punching like a motherfucker. But, got your gloves on. All right, you got your girdle on too. All right, and you in that ring, and you just, all of a sudden, the coach saying, all right, bet. He prays the bell. Ding. Now it's 3 minutes. You ain't even looking at the time. You looking at this guy right in front of you, man. That fierceness, that focus, man. We're soldiers, and we're doing that right now in our day-to-day lives, man. Every day we doing that. All right? And every day we got to stay in this thing, man. Not distracted, not by the wayside. We have to stay in this thing, man. We really do. And we got to fight that. All these distractions, all these wayward things that are trying to come upon us and weed our spirits out, man, you got to rebuke that. Lord willing, bro. Me, I'm saying this humbly as a young bro myself. But, ultimately, this spirit comes down from the elders and apostles and their elders, man. That's the thing, bro. This truth is deep. And like the Apostle Gaboy says all the time, you got to know what you're involved in. Sirach 2, if thou comest to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. We are now, we're at full-blown spiritual war, bro. There's demons coming and trying to fight you. There's all these certain type of spirits that are trying to come upon you, but you got to rebuke that, man. You can't be distracted. We have a course. We know the direction that we're trying to go. All right, so don't be entangled in all this folly, man. All this bullshit that's trying to actually get you out of this truth, because ultimately you have to see that for the evil that it is, man. This is Matthew 7 and verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. So ultimately, this is that straight gate, man. Straight is the gate. It says, but because straight is the gate and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. And who are those few? That's the elect. And the elect are going to be locked in, focused, man. They're going to be going that straight. And you might fall here and there, man. A righteous man falls 7 times, but get it back up. But the wicked fall into mischief. All right, Lord forbid that may happen. We trying to be those righteous that just keep following that straight gate, man. That keep one foot in front of the other, closer to the mission, closer to getting the salvation, closer to standing against this wicked society, man. We trying to get the fuck out of here, man. We not trying to hunker down. We're not trying to settle around, man. And ultimately, a lot of this too has to accept your a lot of this has to do with accepting your portion, man. You might want to think that you might want this, or you think that you might want that, but the Lord laughs at our plans, bro. The Lord laughs at the folly that comes out of a man's mouth at times, man. The scriptures say folly is set in great dignity, man. And that's all this is. You go on social media, just a bunch of folly demons. You got these streamers. All these streamers is a bunch of folly demons, man. Are you going to news? The news even be folly, man. It's not even true. Half of it, you have to really, pick through it to actually see what's real or not. Even these restaurants, all these restaurants are folly, bro. All these restaurants that give you this bogus MSG bullcrap food, man. All of this is vehicles. Vehicles are folly, man. At what stage does this vehicle need to be 6 figures? That's crazy. Why do you need a 6-figure vehicle? They used to make 1990 Camrys that gonna last you 400,000 miles. Now that's a vehicle that's actually useful. But nowadays it just be, you see that new M5? Fuck an M5, man. We want a Chariot, bro. We want to get out of here. All of this is folly, man. This whole place, this whole land, everything in it is folly. These women, follier than a muff. These are chaos agents. Women are chaos agents. All right? For recreational use only. We balance out that flesh, but it's, the spirit's out there now to where that balance is changing for a lot of brothers, man. It has to be more the Lord and less the flesh than it was before. Brothers are saying these years are some of the hardest years to be in the truth, man. And that's very true because we are getting closer to the end. Esau's coming down with that greater wrath, and the Lord's intensifying that spirit. I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to lastly give all honor, praises, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, Shalom.